Okay, so welcome back. The train wreck continues. I just forgot to hit record on the entire Soviet first reaction. Not much happened, really. I'll just sort of give a quick rundown. Soviet Unions basically came in, reinforced in this area here. One of the units that the Soviets get is sort of like a pontoon unit that gives an added bonus to this ferry crossing. I accidentally put the pontoon unit here, so I'm going to dig it out in just a second. But basically, I brought in 9 3/8 Soviet Guard units through this ferry. The ferry has a capacity of 12, 6 on the board, plus 6 added by the pontoon unit. Oh, no, sorry. I put them here. That's where I put the pontoon unit, so I have to take 3 of these guys back. 1, 2... 3. So let me spread these out a little more evenly. Okay, so basically what happens when the Soviets resupply, I'm reinforced. I put that unit in there. These units came in, there were 6, 2, 4, 6, and they have to immediately move. They can't stay in that hex. Soviet units have a stacking limit of 3, so I guess I could actually make 2 piles here. There we go. If you're on the Volga River, these brown, they have a stacking limit of 2. So then after that, one other thing I did, you see here is the General Zhukov, or however you pronounce it. I apologize because I'm butchering it. Initially, he was positioned here. One of the things that Zhukov does is it lets you activate units within 2 of that general as part of the Soviet activation. But being out here, the only thing he can move is stuff that he didn't really want to move in the first place. So I started moving him back towards the actual fight. So that was probably a stupid place for me to start him. Unless he had to start there. I don't know. So I started moving him back to try and help him activate more Soviet units that are actually involved in the thick of the fight at the moment, which was mostly happening up here last time. So after that happened, that basically, and then the other thing I did was you roll a d6 to determine how many Soviet stacks, in addition to the 2 around Zhukov, get to go. I rolled a 4. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up pulling Soviet Unions back from up here, somewhere around. Like one came down the river, another one probably came down this river. So that was some of the things I did there because I wanted to, maybe see if I could get them in better train in the buildings instead of just getting them pulverized by that group of Germans there. So that basically is what the Soviet first reaction phase consisted of, that I forgot to hit record on. So that was tragic. Let's see, then I went back to the Germans. Germans don't get any reinforcements this phase. I'm probably missing something with like replacing units, but maybe that doesn't even happen yet. So then what I started doing with the Germans is I started saying, okay, let's continue the attack up here in the southwestern corner. I brought some units down. There was a unit probably somewhere in one of these 2 spaces, probably here. You see all these Germans surrounding them. They conducted an attack, created 5 breakthrough points. I used one of the breakthrough points to have this stack attack a unit that was here. And that created an additional breakthrough point. So what that does is, this could become like a bookkeeping nightmare, or maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but your breakthrough points can create breakthrough points. Those breakthrough attacks can have other units come down and help out on the German side. Well, maybe it's on the Soviet side too. There's a lot of asymmetry, but maybe that's not one of them. But it lets maybe that is just the Germans, because then that lets the Germans sort of start to steamroll through the map. But I'm not sure what that's going to mean for keeping track of it, because it seems like it could create this cascading mathematical trash fire. So I took care of the first one, and I was going to use the breakthrough point created by this secondary to attack there. So let's see what happens. There's 15 in that stack going against there. I rolled a 6 to make it an ambush attack. So there are certain things that happened because of that. Namely, the Soviets get a -1 to their attack roll when it's time. So I rolled a 6 for the Germans. That's when I realized I wasn't recording. Right now, my GoPro rolling camera is down for a moment, so we'll see how that goes. But I rolled a 6 on the 15 column, which the column is 15 through 17. 6 is 2, so that's going to create another breakthrough point. So let's remove this. So there's 2 more points there. Another 2 points there. So it was actually going to be 19 points, which bumps me up to the 18 through 21, which a 6 still creates 2, so it's all the same. Okay, so I get 1 breakthrough point because of that attack. And I'm going to use it to move like that. Now, this is the part I'm probably going to be doing incredibly wrong, but going back to the initial attack that started that chain, I still have 4 breakthrough points. With breakthrough movement, you don't worry about terrain costs. It's just 1 movement point creates 1 hex. So I think I'm going to take this stack here and move it east. That's 1 breakthrough point. So the initial attack of breakthrough points is down to 3. I'll launch another attack, so it's down to 2. And now I can bring units down to help support that attack. That creates here going against there. So let me start adding up the units. Okay, so let me just double check something. The total is 51, but let me double check if armor units get penalties against infantry units really quickly. The infantry Soviet unit is in the open, so it's going to get a -1 to its attack type roll, which takes ambush off the table. Okay, so that first number, second number thing on the armor is basically terrain, or if it's stacked with like an infantry kind of unit to help with the attack, and in this case, the unit's in the open, so it's going to get to use its full strength. So yeah, so the Germans are on the 51 column, which is 50 through 59. So let me roll the die. Oh, I guess let me see what kind of attack it is. It's a 6, which is an ambush, which is not possible because the Soviets are in the open, so it goes down to a 5 for a normal attack. The Germans roll a 4 on that column, which is going to be, I think, a 6. So one of those 6 is going to remove the unit from the map. And now the other 5, well, I'm going to keep those 3 going, but I mean, again, I don't know how you track it all. I think we were down to 3 on the other movement. You know what? I'm going to burn those 3 really quickly just because otherwise I'll go crazy. So we have 5 left here, but let me do the other 3. Okay. So that's 3 hexes for the breakthrough. That's that. Now we're on the 5 of this new attack. Let me do this. That's 1. Two. 3. And then what we're going to do is we still have 2 left. I'm going to initiate another attack for 4 on that hex there, which is out in the open. So let's see what kind of attack it is. It's a normal attack of a 5, brought down to a 4 because of the terrain. The Germans are still on the... Oh, you know what? I forgot to do the Soviets' defense roll on that first one. It was a 2. So they're on the 2 column. And they roll a 2, which is not bad. That's going to lose 1. So let's see. Let's eliminate one of these units really quickly. I think it's going to have to be one of the 5, 4, 12 infantry. So let me pull those off. Okay, so we did that. Now let's go into this new attack. So we're down to, we were at 51, but now we're at 46 because we just lost that 5. The 46 is the 42 through 49 column. Let's roll the dice. We already know it's a normal attack. The Germans roll well at 2 on the 42 through 49, which is going to be another 6. Okay, so we're going to lose. Well, let's do the defensive fire first. The Soviets are on the 2. They roll a 5, which I think is going to do poorly for them. Yeah, that's nothing. Okay, so. Also, let's flip these other units over. Honestly, I can't remember. I think they were involved with it, so flip them over. Okay, one thing I definitely forgot to do is I forgot to draw Soviet reaction chits after all those fights. So, man, I think there's been 3 or 4, and well, let me just start drawing them and see what happens. Now, because one of the things I had in the mistakes were made is that as long as Soviets control Hill 1726, you draw 2 chits for the Soviet reaction. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw 2. We'll say there have been 4 fights so far. What I'm going to do is if I draw 1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull out like 7 other no reaction chits just so, you know, it sort of feels right. So here's the first pull. If I can just get it down to 2. Okay, so that worked out as it should anyway. The next pull. Oh, there we go. So reaction. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and make it sort of right, even though I can't exactly. I'm going to pull a bunch of no reaction chits out. Okay. So when you get a Soviet reaction chit, what it does to the breakthrough points is you basically get to spend 1 more and then the rest are canceled. So for my last one, okay, is that perfect? No, I have no idea. Who knows?